Hello, this is Dr. Mears. Today we are going to be changing from general form to intercept form. This is where we're going to factor. Now IB loves to call it factorize. It's a little bit different. Some of you may have learned it before if you were in Algebra 2 and others may have not. So I'm just going to introduce you to a method that I like that, again, you may have seen or you may not. So what we're going to be doing is going from f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c to f of x equals a times the quantity x minus p times the quantity x minus q. Okay, here we go. We have to go from no parentheses to parentheses. How do we get there? So first, f of x equals parentheses, parentheses. Now this first term here, x squared, what two things do we have to multiply together to get x squared? And I'm hopefully thinking you're going to say x and x because you've watched my other videos where we actually multiplied x times x and got x squared, because that's what it is. So please get to know this really well. It's really x to the first times x to the first. We add those exponents together and that's where we get x squared. So in those first positions, you're going to write x and x. Now here's the thing. These numbers right here with my two little fingers are pointing, or big fingers. We need to incorporate how to get the 6 and how to get the 8. Well, we're going to have to think of two numbers that add to this middle term and at the same time multiply to 8. Now here's my little trick. I use this x, and what I do is I put a little addition sign above that first box, 12 o'clock box, I guess, and I put the multiplication sign right across from it. And I put down what it has to add to. It always has to add to this middle term. This is a positive 6. And it always has to multiply to this last term right here, 8. So I have to think of two numbers, everybody, that add to 6 and multiply to 8. They have to be the same numbers. You can use your calculator. It's fine. So let's think of a couple ones. I like to start with the multiplication first. So what numbers multiply to 8? Well, I have 1 and I have 8. Well, these two numbers, they multiply to 8, but if we add them, 1 plus 8, what do we get? We get 9, and that doesn't work. 1 plus 8 is 9. Doesn't work. Okay, we know it's not 1 and 8. Let's try 2 and 4, because 2 times 4 is 8. What is 2 plus 4? Is 2 plus 4 6? Yep, 2 plus 4 is 6. We got it. And notice these are both positive, positive 2 and positive 4. So what we're going to write in here is positive 2 and positive 4. And guess what? We just factored for the first time together, you and I. What number is in front here? Well, RA, this is going to be 1. If you would like to write in the 1 because you like to know that there's a number there, you're more than welcome to. If you don't, if you want to erase it, you can as well. Either way works. Okay. Are we going to get to where there is a number here? Yes. We will be doing that a little bit later. However, we are just going to stick to making sure we can get this process down before we start actually getting a number for A. So let's just practice this first without having anything interrupted in front. All right, number 2, f of x equals x squared plus 2x minus 15. So let's f of x. Let's set up our parentheses. Let's look at this, x squared. What do we need? You're right, you're going to put x and x in for now, x and x. So now we have to take care of these two numbers. So we know it's going to add up to a positive 2, but it has to multiply to a negative 15. So it has to add up to a positive 2. It has to multiply to a negative 15. And so this is where we're going to get into negatives and positives. So we have to think of two numbers that multiply to negative 15. Okay, let's try negative 5 and positive 3. Okay, let's just try it. Now, if we add those up, negative 5 plus positive 3, what are we going to get? We're going to get a negative 2. But what did I need? I needed a positive 2. That's not going to work. Okay, that's out. Now, let's see. How about if we do like 1 and 15? Now you're saying, Mears, come on. We know it's not 1 and 15 because if you add these together, it's 2. And if you multiply them, it's going to be a positive 15. Okay, you got what I'm throwing down. All right, so yeah, I know you're pushing me to say, how about positive 5 and negative 3? Let's try that one. Okay, well, positive 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. Positive 5 plus a negative 3, you got it, it is a positive 2. So here are my two numbers. positive 5, and negative 3, minus 3. And you factored. Woo! Okay, let's try number 3. Now, the only way to get really good at this is doing them over and over and over and over until you're just able to see it and you don't actually have to use this method. You're just like, oh, I know the two numbers. Yes, you can get to that level of understanding. It just takes practice. That's in doing the examples. Okay, x squared, you got it, x and x. All right, what do we have to add to? We got to add to negative 8. And we have to multiply to positive 7. Well, there's not too many numbers. There's only 1 and 7, right? 1 times 7 gives you 7. There's no other. So we have to get to negative 8. So 1 times 7, positive. So 1 plus 7 is positive 8. Oh, you know what? Let's try negative 1 and negative 7. Negative 1 plus negative 7 gives us a negative 8. Woo-woo, that's it. Negative 1, negative 7. Now, some of you might, this part right here, you might not get right away. But the more you do it, the more you're going to say, oh, it's definitely going to be these two numbers, but now I just have to get my signs straight because I have to make sure that this ends up being negative. And if you want to double check it with the calculator, if it helps you, absolutely do that no matter what. Okay, so we took it out of general form, put it in intercept form. If you want to put the 1 in front, you're most welcome to. If not, I like it like that. But we are going to be looking where the A is going to be a number, just not today. I want to get you used to finding two numbers that multiply to the last and add to the middle. So here you go. I hope it helped.